Hello. Things are
Hi.
happening.
So they are.
Oh, good, and the trainer card updated. Yay.
Huzzah.
Hopefully the audio levels should be fine this week.
They seem to be from my end.
Cool. So this week
Yeah, seems fine.
we actually have people with us. People are here this week. So there's me, Dr. Oak, who's playing the video game. And there's Prof. Cinders.
Hi.
And Stellarwind.
Yo.
And Teapot.
Hi.
And last time, I believe we molested a pseudo-widow and got to a critique city.
Yep. And we actually managed to get some cows to be dishonored.
Oh yes, we actually beat Miltank. Eventually.
Nice.
Hooray.
Yeah, she was kind of a absolute pain.
If anyone missed that one,
Cows-
it's probably worth going back and seeing just what we had to do to actually beat Miltank.
Yep.
I missed it, so I'm gonna have to check it.
It's probably the most ridiculous battle we're going to have in any of these playthroughs.
Most likely. Team Bucket and the Bucketeers. Obviously, this one missed his path in life. He should have been in Team Skull.
Oh yeah, it's Team Rocket Fights time.
Sometimes it's just iffy.
So, speaking of Team Rocket, basically the only Pokemon news this week was a kinda new trailer for Let's Go.
It was a new trailer, it had new gameplay in it.
Yeah.
It's kinda hard to call it new gameplay at this point, because they're basically just demonstrating how it's exactly the same game as Pokemon Yellow at this point.
I mean, that's a good thing, surely.
Kinda. At the very least, the fact that they've got Jesse James and Meowth in it the way that they do, it's basically like, what if we did Pokemon Yellow correctly?
Yeah, I get the impression that's kind of the objective here. But yeah, like I said, I tell you what we can talk about, because this isn't new as of this week, and that is that Megas are back.
Yay!
Yeah, we actually mentioned this yesterday, but
Ah, right.
one thing I have noticed, and I've already mentioned this yesterday too, but still, is that apparently either they've sort of bashed the Charizardites together, or there's just a way to determine which form of overhyped Zard you want to use in a specific battle.
Yeah. So basically, that the reveal of that, the fact that you can choose whether to evolve into Charizard X or Charizard Y, it basically means one of two things. It either means, yes, there's only one Charizard out now, or it means that held items are not a thing in Let's Go, and you actually just need to have both versions of the Mega Stone in your bag.
Or just
Also-
nebulously obtain them.
Well, that if you obtain them, they're in your bag.
In a bag.
You obtain badges, they don't go in the bag.
They go in your badge case.
Yeah.
Where does that go?
In your bag.
Yeah.
Why?
Of course, the only question in this particular case is, where does the Nebby go?
Well, not the bag, clearly.
No, not in the bag. It gets fed to a space-time rift, so it finally evolves.
Yep. Or in the original games, just zapped with fancy box.
So, yeah, I kind of hope that it's just that they've combined the Megastones into one thing, because that I kind of want that to be the case anyway. I don't really see the point in having 2 Megastones.
I think there's kind of some. Basically, I think something, and then I was told I was wrong, so I think I am wrong. But I initially saw that and thought, oh, Charizard's going to be a little bit broken.
No, not really, because
and then
you still need to build Charizard up completely differently if you want a good Y or X. Since they
see, that's what I was told, which is of course correct. But it is an interesting one, because at least for me, I always got the impression that Megas were, you know, they were yesterday's gimmick. And it's kind of interesting to see them not only kind of bringing them back, you know, because we initially assumed they were just shoehorning them into the post game again, because they had to be there because reasons, you know.
Yeah.
And actually, it's saying actually no, they're actually in the game, and there is a totally spurious rumor, but one that says that actually they'll be adding more new Megas and basically Megas for some of the major characters in Kanto. Like
Basically, yeah, basically every gym leader, every Elite Four, every, like, there'd be Mega Evolutions for all the evolutions, Mega Evolutions for Raichu.
Oh dear God, this is just... The thing is that they've already specifically announced that there's only going to be one completely new Pokemon, so it's not going to be a Mega Evolution. I mean, it might be, but it's most likely not. I mean,
that depends on them treating Mega Evolutions as a new Pokemon to begin with. And they're very inconsistent about what they class as a new Pokemon.
Yeah, Sorry.
I think that they will give at least a few of the more significant plot characters at least some form of Mega Evolution, at least later in the game.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to have re-challenges at some point, and I would not be surprised if they're going to stick Mega Gyarados on Misty and Mega Steelix on Brock, because that's what they've done in the anime.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely do, maybe for some kind of either post-game or rematch or whatever. There you go, I've just found this article, so this is, like I say, this is totally spurious rumour territory.
Oh yeah, I don't believe it in the slightest.
No, but just for the sake of argument, this is PokeJungle has posted this
because of course it's PokeJungle.
Because of this, yeah, a chap called the Chinese Riddler is basically given us a list of names of Pokemon that this guy seems to think is getting new Mega Evolutions, and the reason they think that is because they've just been trademarked in Japan. Never mind that there's a new Kanto game coming out in Japan, so that would be sensible, but even so. So, the list is, I'll read this out, and I think it kind of makes sense. And to a point. Golem, which, fair enough. Machamp, also fair enough. Raichu, weird, but okay. Jinx, super weird on the basis that I thought they tried to ignore Jinx existed, but whatever. Starmie, both Hitmons, Arbok, Weezing, so Jesse and James, Persian, Giovanni, and this is the weirdest one, but Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon.
I mean, if Raichu's getting a Mega Evolution, then it would make sense that they would too, but also they are going to evolve in the game.
So my kind of thinking is the Arbok, Weezing, Persian makes sense. Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon would make sense if your rival gets a Mega, because if you follow the way Yellow does it, they get an evolution based on whether you beat them or not in the original game, so they would likely get an evolution in Let's Go, either through the same method or something else. Last one on the list is Dragonite, which of course is Lance.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like, to me, like they're adding a few So Golem, Machamp, Raichu, Jinx, Starmie, the Hitmons, Arbok, Weezing, Persian, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, and Dragonite. So it seems like some of them, like Golem and Starmie, sound like Brock and Misty. Raichu might be Surge, but the rest of them don't seem to be.
I mean, the other thing that
actually, the Jungle article does mention a few things, like Lorelei has Jinx, Bruno has the Hitmons, and
Oh yeah.
Agatha has an Arbok, obviously Lance has Dragonite, and at least in the original Yellow, what's-his-face did get an Eevee and evolved it based on how the game...
Yeah, that makes sense. So if we say
he's not in the game, and so we got this weirdo, but if he does have an Eevee that evolves into whatever it evolves...
yeah, it kind of makes.
I suppose that if the rival gets Pikachu, if you're playing the Eevee version, and gets Eevee if you're playing the Pikachu version, which is likely, I suppose, then what they're going to do is have a quote-unquote Mega Raichu on what it is, or a Mega Evolution of some sort. Although,
yeah, true.
No.
I mean, it could well be. It could be simpler than that. It could be you get either Pikachu or Eevee, so you get the Megas for Pikachu or Eevee. But they are supposed to not evolve.
They're not going to evolve. They've officially been stated to just remain hats forever, which is absolutely flipping daft, if you ask me. Especially because Eevee is pointless without its evolutions.
Yeah. So I guess you're probably right. I think. From the list, obviously, from what the article says, it does seem like, they're going to give the Elite Four and the Champion, and of course your rival, a Mega, each.
I mean, the other thing that kind of stands out from that general list is that's also more or less all of the remaining Gen 1 Pokemon that don't evolve in later generations as well.
That is true, yeah. I do, because that was one thing I was thinking, actually, when I was sort of pondering this, is... there are already, just due to sheer favoritism, a lot of Gen 1 Megas. Like, that was where...
Yep.
I think initially it was only Gen 1 Pokemon that got Megas, wasn't it? It wasn't until...
No, it wasn't. It was... They did have a few... Let me see.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
I think they just had the lion's share.
They did. Hold on.
Because those were ones they needed to fix. Basically.
Well,
I think that was the intention, yeah.
I mean, it was mostly Generation 1 Pokemon, except Ampharos, Scizor, Heracross, Houndoom, Mawile, obviously. I think Aggron also. I don't remember which ones were introduced in which generation now, and... No, wait, okay, they did list it. So we had Ampharos, Scizor, Heracross, Houndoom, Tyranitar, Blaziken, God of War, Mawile, Aggron, Medicham, Manectric, Banette, Absol, Garchomp, Lucario, and Abomasnow.
It's quite a few that aren't Gen 1.
Introduced in X1. But yeah, for Generation 1 we had, obviously, we had Venusaur, both Charizards, lovely thing, Blastoise, Alakazam, Gengar, Kangaskhan, Pinsir, Gyarados, Aerodactyl, and both Mewtwo's.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
also,
and then,
hi Cole.
Hello.
And yeah, then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire introduced Beedrill, Pidgeot, Slowbro, at least as far as Generation 1 goes, and everything else was from like completely different generations. We had Steelix, Sceptile, Swampert, Sableye, Sharpedo, lots of S names there. Camerupt, Altaria, Glalie, Salamence, Metagross, Stellates, and Quaquay. Funny, Glade, and also for some reason, still waiting for more Generation 5 Pokemon to get Mega Evolutions, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. I do think... Yeah, sorry, so I was wrong about only Gen 1 Megas and 6. Sorry, I'm overtired. I'm going to say silly things. But obviously, it is definitely one of those things where a lot of them did, and in Oras, a lot more did, because, say, Mega Beedrill and a few others. So I think... Please, my god.
Yes.
But it does seem like, yeah, pretty much every fully evolved Gen 1 Pokemon seems to be getting a Mega.
How in the name of the balance did this sheep get paralyzed?
I'm just getting absolutely destroyed by a Magnemite. It's not right.
Whacking right there.
Yeah, God.
But anyway, like my kind of point with the Megas news for Let's Go is on top of the Megas, we've got Alolan forms, we've got Z moves, we've got a new Pokemon being introduced in it, and yet for some reason it still doesn't seem like we're going to have the rest of the Gen 1 Pokedex, the full expanded Pokedex, where they all have their pre-evolutions and evolutions.
Yeah. It does seem so weird, and it seems so conspicuous given everything else that's in the game. I almost wonder if they're... I mean, I get the impression they're just not doing it at all. But I almost wonder if it's like going to be like a Fire Red Leaf Green situation where it basically unlocks them later on.
I don't get it. Why have Mega Charizard throughout the actual gameplay, but not Steelix?
Yeah.
it's just pointless.
To be fair, it just reminds me of that completely and absolutely awful animated adaptation of what was supposed to be sticking to red and blue. What was it called? The Origin? Whatever. Anyway, yeah, they kind of...
I Choose You?
No, I Choose You was like...
Sorry, I'm being silly. Yeah, it was Pokemon Origins, or if you're Japanese, Pokemon The Origin.
It was obnoxious, that's what it was. But anyway, basically, after they've completely spent way too long completely ignoring everything else the game has done, and doing things that made absolutely no sense even within the context of the game itself, I mean, I would still love to see how, in the name of Zark, a Rhyhorn manages to one-hit KO a Jolteon with an electric attack.
It aimed for the horn.
But it's the horn doing the aiming.
Yes.
Anyway, they've kind of gone through all this effort of being like, well, you can see there's a lot of discrepancies here, but that's because we're basing it on what used to be Generation 1, and Generation 1 logic. And then suddenly, out of blapping nowhere, Mega effing Charizard X. Which was completely and utterly stupid.
I mean... Rule of cool, unfortunately.
I mean, to be fair, all of Origin was...
No, it's rule of Charizard and marketing, let's be honest.
That's true.
Pretty much.
Well,
Although,
I think it's because it came out in Gen 6, and Gen 6 was pushing Megas, and they wanted people to
to be fair, they actually revealed X in that particular train wreck. I mean,
they did? I forgot that.
Yeah, they originally only revealed Y. They kind of revealed Y along with Squirtle and... Blastoise and Venusaur, and they're like, this is just Mega Charizard, and then they sort of introduced Mega Charizard X in Origin, and they kind of Charizard. To be perfectly honest, I don't hate Charizard as much as I think it's been overhyped to death, and I'm really tired of the favoritism.
That's because it's the best.
You know what they should do in Let's Go with Charizard is they should have it so that, because obviously once you got the Mega Stone, you can, I suppose it lets you pick one, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it should just be random.
That would break it wonderfully, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like you've got like a 50% chance of getting the one you want, and
just to settle something, because I've heard people say this and I know they're right, but just to be sure, being able to choose either Charizard Mega in a battle, that has no real competitive advantage, does it?
Not really, no, because the two use completely different movesets, EVs and what have you, so...
Gotcha, thought so.
I mean, you can use a mixed set on Zard Y, but there really isn't much of a point.
Fair enough. No, that's interesting, obviously, that's good to know.
I mean, it kind of doesn't matter, because Let's Go is not the competitive game for 2019.
No, it's not. At the same point, we don't know how the stats are going to work in that. I'm presuming that EVs are not going to be there anymore. It's going to be replaced with something else, possibly. I don't know. So,
I would be surprised if they're replaced at all. I would imagine they're just there, but not really.
I was
apparent.
from the Treehouse stream and everything else we know about it, I got the impression that the battle system was just copy and pasted from Ultra Sun and Moon. Obviously with a few changes now, but
the only possible difference in the battle system would appear to be that, well, as we were saying earlier, either Charizardite is now just one Megastone, or there aren't any held items in the game.
Yes.
And if there aren't held items in the game, then that's a fairly significant change.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's huge. That would be fun because that would be them removing the one thing that didn't need to change.
Yeah.
I'm getting a sense of deja vu here.
Yeah, I'm getting destroyed by Bayleaf again.
Yeah.
The irony is staggering.
It's kind of an interesting one though, because I was saying this to Dem yesterday, like my perception of what these games are like has taken a totally opposite trajectory to Ultra Sun and Moon, because I naively thought that Ultra Sun and Moon was going to change more than it did. And so I kind of started out thinking, oh, it's going to be the fixed version, it's going to be this, that, it's the other. And then as time went on, it was kind of a, no, it wasn't. And then with this game, I kind of saw, okay, it's Pokemon Yellow with a new catch mechanic. Wow.
That's brutal.
Wow. Oh dear. Yeah, so this one I thought it was like, okay, it's just Pokemon Yellow, but with a Pokemon Go catching mechanic tacked on, and okay, fair enough, you know. And as time goes on, they're kind of, well, it's kind of both things aren't changing that I thought would, but also things are actually being changed that I never thought they would touch. Things like I say, bringing Megas back. I thought they'd had their day. You know, I'd resigned myself to thinking.
I was kind of hoping that they had, quite honestly, but no. Here we are.
I like them. I think the way they've been announced is like an unusual amount of prominence, but whether or not we get new ones is really the key thing.
Yeah.
If we don't get any new ones, then they're just including Megas in the game, which is all right. It's something different from Yellow, at least.
It does seem interesting because why, if that's right and there aren't any new, why would they put them in game? It does seem a bit weird. Like it seems like a big change to make.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I agree mostly on the grounds of the fact that it still seems like we're not going to have the expanded Pokédex.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see any reason to have one but not the other.
Yeah. It seems weird. I mean, if they added new Megas, then I could certainly see how that would make sense. And I think from the point of view of, like... from the point of view of having... basically sitting in the boardroom going, how do we advertise this game? How do we make people interested in playing it? Beyond just putting the Pokemon Go mechanics in. And if you think, okay, they don't want to add new Pokemon, or at least only one new Pokemon, they don't want to change Kanto too much, because that seems to be true. I get the impression they are trying to make it, air quotes, authentic in a lot of ways. So I guess if they want to add something new to try and entice people to play it and enjoy the new creatures and all that, Megas seem like a smart way to go. Because obviously you can't do like Alolan forms for Kanto.
Yeah.
They did announce they're being in there though, so...
well, the Alolan forms will be in the game, yes.
Yeah.
But they can't introduce new ones, because they can't introduce Kanto forms of Kanto Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it would be really cool if they did introduce, like, you know, Kanto forms of non-Kanto Pokemon, but it's never going to happen, so shrug. I do want to see them use the regional variant mechanism more in terms of, you know, actual game things. But I don't think they're going to, because the thing with Alola forms, which, to be perfectly fair, is a really nifty idea, is the fact that it plays on the concept of insular biodiversity.
Yeah.
Basically, creatures get really weird on island habitats.
To be fair, whilst that's true, again, Rule of Cool can still apply.
Well,
yeah.
yes.
Rule of Cool is the only thing powering Pokemon anymore.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, between regional variants, or whatever way you want to effectively style that kind of idea, and mega evolutions, it's just a nice way of rounding out a game, a new generation of Pokemon, without having to expand the actual decks by significant amount, which doesn't really seem like it's ever going to happen again. Between that, evolutions of existing Pokemon, that's basically what we can expect, plus maybe about 50 to 60 new Pokemon each time.
Yeah. I'm actually taking a look at the Pokédex just to remember what species are we missing exactly.
It would be interesting to see. I mean, I'm assuming the big ones I suspect will be legendaries at this point, and Farfetch'd.
It is watching you.
Of course. I do think Farfetch'd is a bit of a missed opportunity for a Mega. It might still...
Farfetch'd needs to happen.
Yeah, it feels like if you take the original kind of intention of Megas, which was to take older Pokemon and revitalize them a little bit, give them a bit of a boost to work in modern age. I mean, you could just rebalance their stats, but whatever. Then it kind of makes Farfetch'd an ideal candidate for that. Also, hey Ruko.
I mean, Farfetch'd, they should just, at this point, take the abandoned evolution for Farfetch'd and just go, here you go, Mega Farfetch'd.
Maybe that's the new Pokemon.
I don't think they're ever actually going to do anything with Farfetch'd on account of it seeming like they've decided to relegate it into the joke Pokemon sort of slot forever.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. It was introduced as a gag Pokemon, and I think it was never supposed to be any good. And they're very, very insistent that it won't ever be any good. I tell you, actually, one of the ones that's one of the only fully evolved Kanto Pokemon that doesn't have a Mega Evolution at the moment is, of course, Porygon.
Well, here's the thing. Porygon is one of those Pokemon that are like, you know, what exactly are they going to Mega Evolve it in? Because, you know, that's the thing. Porygon is an artificial Pokemon, like, sort of by definition. So, obviously, if they're going to try to evolve it, they're going to need to somehow come up with an artificial Mega Stone for one, which is an interesting RP concept, but I'm not sure how it would work in the actual games.
And I mean,
it's going to be called Porygonite.
And then you have a question, because basically all
there's an easy option there for Porygon, though, isn't there? There's the version of Porygon Z that isn't broken.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Porygon, it fits the lore even. A Mega Evolution, which is basically just a patch.
Yeah.
Which.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be. I was about to say it would have to not actually be a Mega Evolution per se, but it's going to be more. It could be something more similar to what they've done with Necrozma, actually.
Yeah.
So basically, from what we can establish from this, is that Porygon Z is No Man's Sky.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's about the same amount of time since for fixing it as well.
Yeah, about 10 years, yeah. Mega Poryzy right. Poryzy isn't official Porygon content. Yeah, I agree with that. No, I don't.
Well, that's the reason why Porygon Z has got so much like special attack. Like he causes a severe amount of pain to his opponents, the same way as No Man's Sky used to.
Yeah, fair enough.
Babies. I actually took a look at which Pokemon actually get added to the, so to speak, the Pokédex. If you only take, you know, things that are found in Kanto. So basically, And ignoring the babies for a second, because, you know, nobody cares about the babies. But yeah, you've basically got Crobat, Velocin, Politoed, Slowking, Steelix, thing, Licky, Rhyperior, Blissey, Tangrowth, Kingdra, Scizor, Fail 1 and Fail 2, Porygon 2, Porygon Z, and all the effing evolutions!
See,
Which is
I
like
can tell you,
over 9,000 by this point,
this
so...
disc was made by Bungie. That's the reason why it doesn't work.
I was thinking it was made by Iron Storm. No, wait.
No, then Porygon 2
green.
would be green.
I know, right?
And literally every move it uses would have recall damage. In fact, it just wouldn't have moves, it would just have struggle.
Your comment about, well, basically, there is sort of one downside if they ever gave Rhyperior a Mega Evolution, and that is that in the same breath they would probably give Magmar and Electivire Mega Evolutions.
Yes, please.
I don't get it.
See,
I'm gonna get shot for this.
I would actually like to see a Mega Electivire just for the simple fact that I would expect it to like have like a gigantic Machamp physique or something. It would just be like this giant yellow Yeti with like Jiren muscles or something.
See, not only do I want that for both Electivire and Magmortar, I want them to do that and then introduce them into Pokken.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They would be great in Pokken.
So like Mega Electivire is this giant hulking Jiren thing that has grapple moves or something. So it's like Zangief almost.
Yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush. Have you seen that thing? It's fucking Dr. Robotnik. Ooh, swear jar.
What, Dr. Robotnik?
Let's just say that for the sake of the argument.
Yeah, sure.
Baldy McNosehair.
Electivire's electric penis is what's happening there.
Speaking of Dr. Robotnik, and this is basically
it's
just
the
like...
red eyes and the weird mustache. It just kind of... And the round, sort of, eggy sort of physique. It's basically Robotnik.
So yeah, basically, like, completely out of left field, since the other news this week was Smash.
Smash. Yes.
I just want to put on the record, Dr. Robotnik is going to be the second Sega character in Smash.
How's that going to work though? Is he going to have like a robot and it like floats around and stuff?
Yeah, he can be in his Egg Robo. Or his Eggmatic, sorry. Egg Robo's a character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he could have that, or he could just throw badniks at people.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
Yeah, basically like
Bowser Jr. has that little robot thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would work. I mean, if you wanted to,
you can make him an Echo Fighter, basically.
You could, but don't.
If you wanted, yeah, exactly. If you wanted to make him like rather something original rather than just Bowser Jr. but fast, you could make him like fairly fragile but ranged. So he throws minions at people, and yeah, he gets the what do you call it, Eggmatic?
It kind of reminds me of what's it? The idea kind of reminds me of what's his name? Is it MODOK was his name in Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be like that sort of.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But basically, my workings out are the hidden mode that was shown in the Smash Direct, which was basically just Sakurai trolling everyone. He had no reason to show that other than to show off that there was a mode for everyone. He wasn't telling people about it.
Yep.
But that mode is 100% a single player story mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be one of those too.
I mean, just before he cuts to that menu, he mentions about Rathalos being a boss character. A boss in what? A boss in what?
See,
that's true, actually. Yeah.
See, what he also didn't mention is that not only is Dr. Robotnik in the game, his final smash turns the game into Sonic 06.
Yes. Yes. Turns it into a good game.
Like, yeah, until they beat the game, they can't actually go back to the match again. So.
The boss thing, by the way, that is a thing already. Because it's, you know, some stages in 4 and Ultimate as well have enemies that turn up randomly. So I think the Mega Man stage has one, and there's a few others that do. They're referred to as the enemies that show up there are referred to as bosses.
Yeah, but they were showing Rathalos on a stage that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, it's the Monster Hunter stage, though, isn't it?
There isn't a Monster Hunter stage.
About this game.
Well,
Can you go left?
not that we know of yet.
Can you go left yet on this route from Equity?
I don't know.
Is that route blocked? Because if you can go there, you can catch like Tauros and stuff.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, single player mode in Smash. And the reason why that means that Robotnik is going to be in it is for the same reason that King K. Rool is finally in Smash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically,
he's been gone for way too long.
Basically, they're deliberately adding the villains so that there's a villainous cabal within the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's also it's another reason why they might have added Ridley as well.
Yeah.
Well, they showed Dracula as well, didn't they?
Yeah, Dracula is a boss character as well.
Yeah, but he's not a playable fighter apparently.
No.
So,
I mean,
and Rathalos is an assist trophy too. So.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, yeah, I was about to point out the whole Dracula thing, and you would need a whole lot of characters in order to actually introduce villains for most of these particular series. I mean,
well, you say that.
There was already quite a few villain characters. So I mean, there's kind of adding in Ridley and King K. Rool adds like
really
a decent amount.
Yes, I mean,
but
and Dark Samus for that matter.
Yeah.
But
there's only a handful of series that don't currently have a villain.
Yeah,
they don't need to have representation for everyone.
I mean, especially if we're actually ignoring all these particular side characters that are like, not really from Nintendo properties, like Bayonetta,
I mean,
or
theoretically,
Metal Gear
you could
Solid,
use
or
Mewtwo as a
whatever.
villain if you really wanted to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Cloud. What is Cloud doing in Final Fantasy anyway?
There's Sephiroth in the game now as well.
I would not be surprised if they kind of put him in as a random boss fight.
Oh, I fully expect Sephiroth to be the new Square Enix character.
Yeah. Well, he could just be a straight up Echo.
Yep.
So that would be pretty easy. Let's see.
Just make him an echo of Marth, because that would be the funniest thing ever with that gigantic ass sword of his.
They're only doing one Echo character per thing, though, by the looks of it, which is why the Chrome is randomly an Echo of Roy.
Marth. Roy of all things.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the
Ooh, meow.
I'm looking at the character list for Ultimate so far, and there's only a handful that don't have a sort of villain character. One of them is Yoshi, which doesn't have villains.
Yoshi is the villain. He doesn't do his taxes.
True evil.
The villain is HM Revenue and Customs for Yoshi, but they're quite difficult to fit into the game. Pokemon, yeah, it has Mewtwo basically, but again, Pokemon doesn't really have villains per se because it's Pokemon. Earthbound, F-Zero, Ice Climber, but that's because Earthbound has two characters, F-Zero and Ice Climber, only have one. Fire Emblem doesn't really, because it only has the heroes. Game & Watch doesn't count. Kid Icarus, again.
There's Dark Pit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. So yeah, actually, it's true.
I swear to F, I've heard that is Dirk Pitt, and I was like, how in the name of God did how did Clive Cussler get into it, basically?
I mean, everything else on this list is like there's only one representative from each anyway, which is so it's like okay, well, Snake isn't really getting another character, I don't think so.
No.
Grey Fox is an assist trophy, but these characters, yes.
Yeah, so no bosses really. I mean, you'd have to add a Metal Gear or like Solidus or Liquid or something like that. Although saying that, Revolver Ocelot would be super fun.
Senator Armstrong needs to be in the game.
That'd be brilliant. Sonic doesn't have a villain yet. Very well might, as we were saying. Pikmin doesn't really have villains to add.
No, it's wild animals.
Pikmin, the villains are already there because the villains are humans.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
true.
much.
Basically, the villains of Pikmin are the Fire Emblem characters.
Yes. Oh, what am I doing?
On a wheel. My brain just kind of went, okay, who's the villain of Wii Fit?
Wii Fit is the villain.
Yeah, Wii Fit Trainer. Also, on the similar note, Animal Crossing, well, Villager.
I mean, Tom Nook, he's pretty much the villain.
That's true, yeah. But he's not a sociopathic killer.
I mean,
Yes. To the best of my knowledge.
you don't know what him and his little nephews get up to when the shop doors are closed.
Well, that's true. That's true. I'm not going to speculate because he might kill me. Mega Man, which again is kind of difficult. You'd have to add Dr. Wily.
Yeah.
Dr. Wily would be an
Dr. Wily is
excellent
very
echo
relevant.
character of Robotnik.
Dr.
That's
Wily.
true.
An echo of Robotnik.
They are
to
basically
be
the
fair.
same guy, to be honest.
Obviously, Wii Fit, Punch Out again. A Punch Out, I suppose, could get an echo, but
I don't think they can introduce Mr. Sandman. Or...
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get Mike Tyson back.
That's true. The Mii's are villainous enough. Pac-Man doesn't have anything. Xenoblade doesn't have anything.
It
Duck
has
Hunt.
ghosts, but the ghosts can't really be a character.
Well, that's true. Duck Hunt doesn't have a villain because the villain is the bird.
The villain is a dog.
Yeah.
Villain's the dog. Let's be honest.
Street Fighter doesn't have one. Could have
And
one as an
Bison.
echo.
I mean, they could throw M. Bison in there somehow, but...
Or have
Yeah.
Evil Ryu as like an echo fighter.
Evil.
They'll probably give him a costume, but they'll probably
Or
what?
Akuma as an echo fighter even.
Yeah, well, you do that as a costume as well. To be honest,
Yeah.
what we might get is Ken. I can imagine Ken as a echo
Ken's
fighter.
an echo fighter for you. Yeah, that could happen.
And he basically is
Ken.
anyway.
If they needed a villain, then Akuma could quite easily be the echo fighter instead of Ken, but whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Akuma is actually a very good idea.
Yeah, I mean, the only other series are Final Fantasy, which we've already talked about. It would have to be Sephiroth. Who knows? Bayonetta, which I don't even know what the villain of Bayonetta is supposed to be, so...
Some giant godlike statue angel thing that you kind of just blow up and hurl into the sun.
Yeah.
That
It's,
sounds,
it's-
practical.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
really applicable for Bayonetta.
I
No.
mean, they could actually, make it like a random boss fight in the single player mode, whatever. But
Yeah, possibly. Splatoon, which they could use the, whatever they're called. The...
Inkling color swaps.
That's the one.
Octolings? Aren't
Octolings.
they in the game as costumes?
Oh well, that'll probably be it then, to be honest. I don't know, but that seems like it seems plausible. And obviously with Castlevania, we've got Dracula just not playable. So yeah, basically we've got a lot of villains already.
We do.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing they actually added villains from series that really needed their representation already, because, yeah, how long have we been until waiting until... Focus! How
Doesn't
long
Rachel have Hydro Storm in the in Smash?
Oh, really?
It looked like you did.
Mill tank.
You can catch it.
I'm gonna. I think I have a fastball.
'Cause it and Tauros are both here, so.
Oh no!
That was a bit ambitious, let's be honest.
I mean, it was a fastball.
To be fair, Miltank is pretty quick.
Yeah, the rumor has it that the sort of hero versus villain single player mode is called Spirit mode,
Yeah.
Sounds
which
right.
I think there is some science behind why people think it's called that, but it is still relatively sketchy. So
I mean, it's pretty decent. What I've seen of it, the evidence for the image that they showed,
yeah,
the text underneath it being spirit, that seems legit. Whether or not that itself is a troll is another thing entirely.
it's quite possible. You can't really trust anything that Sakurai says until you've actually played it.
Yeah.
True.
Because
The King K. Rool reveal itself was demonstrating that.
It was the best troll ever, though, to be
It was
honest.
brilliant, yeah.
Sakurai was DDD in that clip.
Oh, and also the other troll, which is that Luigi is now canonically dead.
Yeah, he doesn't come back to
Mario.
life. We watched it the other day. He doesn't get back in his body. Luigi is dead.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Mario kind of got himself
Mario and Mega Man
literally...
are canonically dead as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Because Ridley killed them.
The hilarious thing is that they've actually, they've actually made a press release on like Twitter or something saying that Luigi is fine, no worries.
That was
They have not said anything like that about Mario or Mega Man. I mean, Mega Man can be rebuilt, I assume. Mario is a.
Oh no!
Yeah, Mario got his neck snapped, so he's pretty much history.
Ridley's brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, while we're on this subject, I would like to point out that Sakurai has managed to make that other M cutscene properly in about 40 seconds.
Yeah, but to be fair, anybody could have done that in about 40 seconds.
Yep.
Anybody could have done what Sakamoto did far better than him in a fraction of the time.
Yeah. I just love that because I was watching it, and of course, yeah, you've got the Smash characters, but it's like this exact thing happened in Other M.
Yeah, Sakamoto's a clown. That's what we can establish from this.
Yeah, exactly the same kind of, okay, Ridley appears, Samus is kind of terrified.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. In Other M, Samus is all like, "Oh my God, it's a..." In Smash, she just looks really this beephole again.
Yep.
She has this sort of expression that you would expect her to have when she sees Ridley.
Yeah, a bit of an oh dear sort of this.
Oh, it's like an oh, it's you again sort of look.
Yeah.
How many times?
Yeah, and obviously for a cutscene for a silly spin-off fighting game, manages to capture that emotion and
Yes.
yeah, and the spirit of what's going on and maintain her character while still giving her a little bit of vulnerability, and manages to do it in about 20 seconds that whole bit lasts after they
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's not hard to outdo Sakamoto in anything, really.
It really isn't, no.
Speaking of Samus, though, how swear jar in advance? How bullshit is it that we now have Dark Samus in the game, which I cannot deal with this dark insert name of character here thing in general, but how bullshit is it that we have Dark Samus and only one F-Zero character?
Yeah.
Especially with the fact that F-Zero kind of hasn't had a game since the GameCube, so it's...
And also, no F-Zero game since the GameCube.
I think that's I think the two are related, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure that there is like a grand total of 6 people in the entire world who still give a flaming shite about
That's the thing about F-Zero, is like, Captain Falcon is basically like the whole thing as far as like people who aren't familiar with it are concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, most of the characters just aren't that memorable.
I'm not arguing that they are. However, only one character for the series is still rubbish, especially if we're going to include people like Dark Samus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dark Samus might exist for that single player mode chiefly. I think the other thing is Dark Samus is really, really easy because it's a bit like Dark Pitch. It's basically just a color swap. And
Well,
yeah,
it's not quite.
yeah.
It's very different animations as well. Go away,
true.
Joey.
I do love her textures, though.
Yeah. They've managed to crack the Phazon thing perfectly, and of course we haven't seen Phazon since the Wii, so it's the first time we've seen this stuff in HD.
Pretty much.
Although that won't be too long, because obviously we'll get Metroid Prime 4 eventually.
Yeah, but Phazon's canonically like non-existent now, so...
Yeah, they might undo that. But who knows? I would like
if
to
they
see
do,
something...
they're stupid, and they're officially Sakamoto all over again.
I agree, but we'll see. I mean, I think I get the impression, to be honest, that's probably why both Ridley and Dark Samus are getting love in Smash.
I mean, to be honest, like, they don't need to have Phazon in a Prime game for it to be a Prime game, let's be honest.
No, they don't. I hope they don't.
Honestly, the thing with the Metroid series is that you don't really have all that many characters to work with. I mean, you've got Samus, and you've basically got Ridley, yeah. I mean, I think they introduced Dark Samus because she is still, quote-unquote, the biggest rival Samus had, except for Ridley, in the entire span of the quote-unquote series.
Yeah.
I mean, I still kind of think some of the Hunter characters would have been quite good as fighters in Smash Brothers, even if Hunters was
would've-
terrible.
Problem is nobody really cared about hunters. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I would have wanted to see what's his name, Rundus, just because he's really cool looking. I mean, the other two are also kind of nifty, but I mean, I can't really see them do anything with Gandrada except make her a Ditto, basically.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of what she is. And
she could be an assist trophy.
She could be an assist trophy. She could be an assist trophy that works just like Ditto, to be perfectly honest.
I think this is the ongoing problem with.
And yeah, the last guy is... What was even his name? I just know that he used to
Gore.
fuse with machines and it made him angry.
He was called Gore.
Gore, right.
For reasons. I think that's
Yeah, he was just a giant robot, basically.
I think the problem is with, especially with Metroid. I think this is kind of a problem with a lot of the older series. There aren't really many memorable characters beyond Samus herself, and when they tried to make one, we got, well, we got Adam.
Yeah, the funny thing is when people first saw when they encountered Adam and had to deal with his crap in Other M, he indirectly brought attention to a character who hadn't really had that much attention brought to him. That being Admiral Dane from Prime 3.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, just to tally this up, just to sort of clarify for anyone who's not a Metroid fan, Other M, Adam Malkovich spends the entire game telling Samus she can't do things, she's not authorized, she's basically should get back to the kitchen because
Can't let you do that, Star Fox.
yeah, basically because he's a sexist pig, written by a terrible person.
Yeah,
Admiral
The
Dane.
problem is that it was written by a terrible person because, you know, I've played Fusion and we all know the quote-unquote big twist of Fusion right now, and
Yep.
he was not as bad in Fusion.
I do think they had. I think the whole, oh yes, he calls me lady, but he somehow says it right. That is just as bad in Fusion. He just doesn't actually try and say it like verbally because it's a Game Boy Advance. So it's better, but I think it's better due to less exposure rather than the character actually being better. But
yeah. Well, either way, it's shit writing and it sucks and it's horrible.
yeah, but just to compare. Admiral Dane shows up in Prime 3. Samus basically says, okay, I'm going to nuke a planet. And he goes, okay, off you go.
Well, no, he tells her to do that.
Well, that's true. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, he still says, yeah, do you know what? Go do it. Get on with it. It's up to you. Just, you know, nuke a planet. We don't care. We trust you. Off you go.
Well, basically, like, the very first thing he does is, like, tell you to get to your ship because we need you to spearhead the attack is literally the first thing he tells you to do.
Yeah, which makes sense given the lore.
Yep.
Which we'll have to try and drag ourselves back on topic at some point. But one thing I did love about, slightly related given the whole spearheading the attack thing, the newest Doom Eternal trailer. There is a this is totally off topic, so whatever. But there is a section where you, as the Doomslayer, walks through this installation with all these scientists and officers, and they're all completely scared of you. It's brilliant.
I was watching that earlier,
Yeah.
and I have to say, is the Doomslayer the baddie?
Yes.
Because
Yes,
all,
as far as the demon's concerned, yes.
all the
He is-
demons are just kind of going about their business. They're most of them, aside from the scorpion crying at the end of the trailer, that they're not even trying to kill the guy, and he just comes along and brutally murders him.
Everyone, right? They have just done that.
Yeah, but that's theirs now.
Yeah, like pretty much if you read the lore, well, what lore is in the first game, which is hilarious at the fact that they have lore in the game at all. Which I should point out, the game does kind of treat that with the same sort of disdain as it does everything else that isn't killing things. By virtue of the fact that it doesn't make you read any of it at all. I would prefer that you don't. It goes into some detail of explaining that the demons are pretty much scared crapless of the Doom guy.
Well, no wonder.
So, yeah, there isn't yeah, it's kind of justified that he's just going around murdering them. It's kind of, yeah, it's fine.
To be fair, it also looks like the humans are too. I mean, I get the feeling that, you know, the Doom guy sort of has this thing. This is actually something I've kind of been thinking about, considering the similarities in the armor's design. But the Doom guy is like Master Chief turned up to like 11,000. Yeah. Basically, you know, when you see when, you know, you can see the UNSC characters all, you know, kind of almost revering Master Chief, while the Covenant are like, you know, will keep calling him a demon and stuff. And then you see the Doom guy in the beginning of Eternal, and you see the humans are just as absolutely terrified of him as the demons are, because you can pretty much tell that, you know, is this guy even human? He just seems to be there to kill things. He looks like the sort of character who just basically will not stop himself if he ran out of demons to kill, and then the humans do.
I think that's a risk, yeah. I do love in the Eternal trailer, in the first game, and presumably in the second game as well, there are areas that get locked down because they need arenas. And there's the computer always says, what is it, demonic presence...
At unsafe levels.
At unsafe levels, yeah. And at one point in the Doom Eternal trailer, you walk into a room and it goes, Slayer presence at unsafe levels, which is brilliant. Absolutely wonderful. Because I think they are trying to, I think, to be honest, Alex is actually right. They are sort of trying to hint at the idea that the Slayer is kind of just as bad as the demons in a lot of ways. And he's a lot more powerful.
Mm.
Yeah,
by the way, he's you.
he really doesn't just kill the demons, is the thing.
Yeah.
He very much murders the demons.
Well, he spends most of the first game breaking things, and including a few things that shouldn't be broken. So he's never regarded as a hero. And he actively, like, he's told, this is why we have this is why we do this is a good thing, and then he breaks it anyway. Which is fun.
He's basically just rage. He's pure rage and hate.
No, that's a different franchise.
Yes. Both are currently on Games Pass now.
I'm so glad they actually made it too.
Yeah, they're putting out...
All I remember of Rage was that it was basically Borderlands, but not funny.
Well, they've given it to the Just Cause guys, who are quite
good. And it had a really good theme song, but that's just... that's basically it.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Rage 2 is basically, they've given it to Avalanche and said, make this fun. And we'll find out, was it next year? Or is it this year?
Yeah, it's early next year, I think.
That's it. And they basically, we'll find out next year whether they actually have. Oh, and it's not even early next year, it's June next year, apparently.
I mean, they had been working on trying to make Rage 2 a thing for quite a while.
Oh, sorry, Google lied. It's Q1, it's first half of next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have.
So I think they tried to find a way to make it fun, and then just said, okay, Avalanche, you do it instead.
Yeah. Avalanche are good at, you know, open world explosions. So they are basically the Michael Bay of video game developers.
100%.
Which is not an insult at all. Like,
basically explosions.
Yeah, basically Just Cause is logically totally stupid, but it's really fun.
Yeah.
Just Cause is basically a perfect example of a name that suits the game perfectly.
It is the best title they could ever have possibly come up with.
Yep.
Although in the first game it's a little bit drier. Like they try and spin it as being like a legitimate, you're trying to cause an uprising. It's a just cause.
And then in 2 and on, it's like, why are you doing this?
Just cause, yeah. Yeah, the first game just isn't quite as mad as the later ones are.
Well, the first game was basically put out, and then everyone said, okay, this is horrendously buggy. What are you going to do about it? And they went, we're going to make a second one.
Yeah, I mean, they basically did exactly what... They basically did exactly what the guys behind... Saints Row. That's what they did. The first game was basically a fairly dry GTI clone that wasn't that great. I mean, it was average, but it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But once that came out, they kind of went, alright, let's just make it nuts. Just stop caring. And once they embraced just going nuts with it, the rest of the game series was actually amazing. I mean, the gameplay still kind of was a bit ropey, but the game framed around the gameplay is just perfectly insane.
Yeah. Makes sense, yeah. Where did we start with all this?
Smash.
Ah, yes.
We did, yeah,
Yeah.
it was Smash.
Doomslayer for Smash.
Oh, speaking of...
I didn't say that. That'd be funny.
As an echo character of Master Chief.
I was about to say, by the way, that because, it's kind of made a Just Cause joke, I was just realizing that, the whole Just Cause thing is sort of like, the creed of the chaotic good character.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the chaotic evil character just does things for the hell of it.
Yep. Well, I mean, the Rico Rodriguez is the very epitome of chaotic good, insofar as the way to progress in the game is to build chaos, which you do by destroying things.
Yeah,
but you get a meter called chaos, which, if it was any other franchise, would form an emerald once you'd filled it. But I know I'm stealing something Dr. Oak said here, but one thing we have been talking about with Smash is potential, basically, whether there would be other people, other publishers bringing guest characters. And the big one is, until you think about it a while, it's a really weird thing for us to say, but bear with us. The big one is Microsoft. Because basically, there has been a thing where Phil Spencer has actively said, Phil Spencer being the head of Microsoft's Xbox division, has actually said, yep, he'd love to see Banjo in Smash. And it would be perfect because it's an ex-Rare, i.e. Nintendo, IP. It's now owned by Microsoft. Hasn't really done that much in the last few years. And would be perfect for Smash. And so I've always I kind of was thinking, or Alex was thinking, and I've stolen it, that if they were to bring characters from Microsoft in, it would probably be Banjo and Minecraft Steve.
Yep. Minecraft Steve that uses a creeper in attacks.
Yes. Maybe that, or maybe even just his final Smash is just a load of creepers spawn on the stage.
Yeah.
That could be a thing.
They will blow up.
Guy dance all over again.
Yep. But the reason kind of it would make sense, and on the face of it, it doesn't make any sense at all, because you would think of it and you think, well, why would Microsoft want to do anything with Nintendo? They're competitors. But they're not. Because the Switch, which is now a sort of pokey little handheld / console hybrid, isn't in any way competing with even the cheapest Xbox. They're totally different libraries, totally different audiences, totally different, styles of hardware. And in fact, working with Nintendo is something, well, firstly, something that Microsoft have previous on because of Minecraft.
And a couple other things.
And a couple other things, yeah. I mean, Xbox Live is now a thing on Switch, which is a really weird sentence to say, but it's true.
It really is.
Yeah, Microsoft have even published DS games.
Yeah?
Once upon a time, they worked on a Halo game.
Gosh,
To be perfectly honest, yeah, I mean, if you actually take into consideration the fact that, Cloud, of all Final Fantasy characters, is in Smash, and Final Fantasy VII has never in any capacity been on any Nintendo console ever.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. There were a lot of Final Fantasy games that were on Nintendo. I mean, the entire series up to 7 was Nintendo based.
Yeah.
And then 7 happened, they kind of ditched Nintendo for Sony, and then they haven't even gotten anywhere near Nintendo for ages until they made that complete pointless side game for what was that thing even called again?
Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah, exactly that.
But the even greater irony, really, is Final Fantasy VII specifically is
It's
the
a
game.
huge Sony exclusive, yeah.
Well, they moved specifically away from Nintendo because of Nintendo's president at the time. They had a huge falling out with Nintendo specifically.
You did.
But
Just
yeah,
kind of-
with Cloud there, it does make an obvious case for these characters don't necessarily have to have been on a Nintendo platform, although actually Banjo and Minecraft Steve obviously both are.
Yeah. But Banjo will always be known exclusively as an N64 character because it was made by Rare, which was a Nintendo-owned developer, at least at the time.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason it's not still a Nintendo character is because the rights were owned by Rare, who got bought by Microsoft. But they've never done anything substantial with Banjo since, apart from nuts and bolts, I suppose. Which, yeah, okay, fine. They've made an entire game for Xbox with Banjo in it. But the majority, I think, if you think of Banjo, you think of Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo-Tooie, not necessarily nuts and bolts.
I didn't even know there was a nuts and bolts. That kind of shows a lot.
Yeah, look into that. It'll be fun.
I mean, to be utterly fair to Nuts and Bolts, the biggest issue with Nuts and Bolt was primarily that it wasn't Banjo 3E.
Yeah, it was a fun game in its own right. It was just a race. It was like a. Basically, the idea of it was that you played as Banjo and Kazooie, but it wasn't a platform. It was like almost a racing game. You built like cars and carts and planes and boats and stuff.
I mean, there's platformy bits too. It was kind of like a weird, completely different kind of game, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a great kind of what would you say? It was a great experiment, in doing it, and it was fun. It wasn't necessarily Banjo-Kazooie, and it also wasn't necessarily.
Whoa! Please don't make me fight him.
Ah.
I'm here training so that I can fight him in Ecruteak City. Oh, good.
Oh. That got me a bit worried there.
Yeah, I've managed to skip an entire city so far.
Oh, nice.
Well, it's we've moved on a lot from Gen 1, clearly, with skipping things. Skipping large
Can't skip things anymore, no.
Oh, I do like to fish.
This game just lets you do. You don't even have to use glitches. You can just skip the entire game and that's it.
Actually, I think you can't actually skip it, beyond that particular point.
Yeah, no, because I need to get surf.
Yeah, I mean, you probably got surf, but you need to get the badge to get through. So.
Yeah.
To be fair, you can skip things in Diamond and Pearl and Platinum because you can tweak.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the whole skipping massive parts of the game thing hasn't really changed all that much.
Yeah.
I used that glitch to get Shaman and Darkrai and Arceus.
Yeah. Didn't they remove that in the English versions?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, really?
I had the Japanese version of Pearl.
I did tweak in my English version of Diamond. They might have gotten rid of it in Platinum, but they did keep it. Was still there in Diamond and Pearl. Well, I did it. It was quite. I think they fixed it after that though. I don't know if they fixed it for Platinum or not, but they definitely fixed it for Hard Gold Soul Silver. Somehow. But
Magic.
Yeah.
Ball capsules.
Oh yeah, seals. No, not the Pokemon.
God, my team is terrible.
Yeah, but
you should. I think that you should also take a page from everyone else's books here and do some off-screen grinding before next week's stream.
I think I'm going to have to.
At some point, at some point you just kind of have to.
I think, I think we got waylaid because we're talking about Microsoft and Nintendo.
Yeah, stupid us talking about the game.
I know. How dare you?
How did this happen?
we can talk about the game again. I just wanted to finish my thought rather than leaving it, which is basically, I think there's the perception, at least among kind of people like us, where we're old and remember the old days where Nintendo actually had to compete with people. So there's the kind of instinct that, you know, Nintendo and Microsoft would never work together in the same way that Microsoft and Sony would never work together because there's no value in it for them. But there is now. Having Microsoft associated with something like Smash is only a win for Microsoft. And it's not even a loss for Nintendo.
That's a win for Nintendo.
It is a win for Nintendo, yeah. So actually having sort of something like, you know, having Banjo or especially Minecraft Steve in Smash, it's a win for everyone, basically, except Sony.
Yep.
Which is perfectly fine by me, because Sony are terrible.
They're being terrible at the moment, that's for sure.
They've been terrible for years.
Well, they haven't.
What have they done this time?
Still just the crossplay stuff.
Oh.
It's just the usual undercurrent of Sony being incompetent, to be honest.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, as weird as it sounds to say it, there is a very, very good chance that Banjo will be in Smash at some
I
point.
would say it's 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far, but I know why you're saying.
I 100%
Yeah.
would. I think they might even be the final characters announced.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I was... Because the thing is, Sakurai very specifically said, we have more characters to announce.
And we'll announce all of them before the game comes out.
And we'll announce all of them. And, it, you know, it was very much a, we are setting up some hype here. You know, they want to big this up, the fact that there are more characters, and I don't think he would have made such a big deal of it if it was just going to be, I don't know, Waluigi, although the internet would explode if it was.
Well, Waluigi is an assist trophy.
Yeah.
The internet has kind of already lost this battle.
There's always going to. There's no point fighting this battle. It never has been. But yes, it's an assist trophy. But even if it wasn't...
I would find it quite funny if they ended up doing the giving Waluigi the Krogunk treatment, where he's both an assist and a playable character.
The game's gone mental again.
It does that, yes. It's
Oh boy.
it's a thing with Heart of Gold, SoulSilver.
Yeah, but I think what they've got planned, I would suggest, is something on the scale of the Cloud reveal from the Smash 4 DLC, which it kind of feels, again, it's one of those things you sort of take for granted, considering it was, you know, 3 years ago now, and it was kind of, it's been a case for ages, but Cloud was a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually getting Cloud in Smash was ridiculous. Even more so than getting Ryu in Smash, which was still a bit of a tall order.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the biggest thing that they could do versus Cloud now, I wouldn't even consider the Microsoft one that, to be honest, because I think it's such a sure deal at this point. The biggest thing beyond that, and annoyingly, it didn't really make much sense when it was a thing back in the past for Smash 4, but now it actually kind of does.
Yeah.
It would be Goku.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
I can't see it happening though.
I mean, I would never have seen it happening, but now that Dragon Ball FighterZ is a thing.
A very successful thing.
Exactly.
It was also Goku, when they did that big poll all those years ago, I think Goku was one of the highest.
Yeah.
I think he won.
It's always Goku and that stupid character from that Super Mario RPG that nobody actually played and has nothing to contribute to Smash, but for some reason everyone really wants him in Smash.
I think it's just a meme to put him there.
Which character is this?
Gino. I don't even know who he is.
He's like
He's
some
called
kind of
Gino.
puppet character thing from the Super Mario RPG.
It's basically a meme to pick him as being the most popular character, but then a bunch of idiots kind of latched onto it, so...
I'm looking at the wiki page for this thing, and I have honestly never, ever, ever seen him, ever.
He was only ever in this one game.
Mario RPG, yeah.
He turned up in one game that nobody played.
Exactly.
I mean, I'd say why on earth would they do that, but I suppose they've got the Ice Climbers, so...
I mean,
Yeah, but to be fair, at least the Ice Climbers, you know, they had a game that people played.
Yeah, and it was a classic Nintendo game, even if it's not like a very popular one.
Yeah, it's like an arcadey sort of game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to put that character in as an assist trophy, fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're there for.
Exactly.
I think the thing with Gino, and why we're never going to see him, is that Super Mario RPG is kind of sitting in a really, really convoluted state of copyright hell. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen it get Virtual Console released either. Because basically, the game was developed by Square Enix.
Well, we've already got Cloud. Maybe Gino's the next representative for Square Enix.
Oh dear. Of course, that is a. You know, I think if you assume that all of the publishers will get 2 representatives, which is a hell of an assumption, by the way.
Well, I think it's a fair assumption now that we've got 2 for Konami and 2 for Capcom.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they do get another one off of Squeenix, who else comes in, because there's an awful lot of
It
options.
will obviously be Superfly Johnson because they own him too.
Oh dear.
There is a mental image.
Yeah, he will set a new standard for bottom tier when all of his weapons just blow him up.
I mean, what I would probably expect for another Squeenix character is like Octopath or Bravely Default or something like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know who they could throw in there? Because, I mean, I don't know if they will, and I kind of hope they won't, because it would make no flipping sense, but they do own her, so Lara Croft.
Well, this is what I was sort of musing about this. I think it's very unlikely that the Western characters will ever get in, but they own the IDOS characters, which is obviously Lara Croft, Adam Jensen, and
Agent 47.
And Agent 47, yeah. And what was the other one? They also, I suppose, own Rico Rodriguez, who would be funny but would never happen. Which is the Just Cause guy.
Yeah, figured.
But yeah, one of those 4. I mean, possible, very unlikely. It is Squeenix. They do like to forget the western side of their business.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few Capcom characters in there. Maybe someone from Resident Evil. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's not Squeenix, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll forget Squeenix. We don't like them anymore.
Well, if they're going to do someone from Capcom,
I know exactly. I know
Sorry?
exactly who to do for Squeenix.
Oh yeah.
And it makes as much sense as someone like Lara Croft, really, but because it's not on a Nintendo platform yet. But it would fit both Smash and Squeenix to a T, and it's 2B.
Oh yeah. And I reckon Yoko Taro would go for that as well. Like, he's got the same sort of Kojima auteurism to him, where I think he'd quite enjoy that.
Why am I doing this?
What are we talking about?
This is near.
Ben announced a new No More Heroes game as well. He put Travis in the game.
Well, that'd be fun.
That might
2B
not be a
is
bad
from-
shout.
2B is from Nier Automata, by the way.
Isn't he already an assist trophy? I mean, there have been characters that have been upgraded from
Travis?
assist characters. Yeah.
Is he?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't think he is.
He isn't, I think. I think he... Was he? Or was... I have
have
no
to say,
idea.
in the No More Heroes trailer, I was quite amused by the fact that he was playing Hotline Miami. That was very funny.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's not happening, I think. For the same reason that Agent 47 wouldn't happen.
What, Hotline Miami in Smash?
Yeah, that's just a bit too violent, I think.
He has?
Yeah, like, Hotline Miami's never gonna happen. I just thought it was funny the fact that Hotline Miami turned up in a No More Heroes trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I could see Travis.
It looks like that they, someone actually asked Suda51 about, what would you like to see Travis in Smash? And he's like, yeah, but it's up to the media people. They have to take a stand and make Nintendo put him in the game.
I mean, that could be fun. I think 2B from Nier Automata would be actually a very good choice. I also think it's not unlikely. In terms of, not impossible in the same way that the Western Screens characters are, because it is A, very Japanese, B, very popular, and C, I can say Yoko Taro is the sort of guy who would be quite into it, and he would bully his own publishers into letting it.
Yeah. And they have a good relationship with Platinum as well, so...
They do.
Them in the middle is a solid plus on everyone's radar
now
there.
I see who you're talking about.
Yeah. Her.
Yeah, I kind of. I never actually looked too deeply into Automata, since the first game on its own is a near-death experience. I'm sorry I had to borrow a slighty joke from Yahtzee, but it kind of had to happen.
There's basically nothing that connects the original Nier and Automata. They're completely different games.
Yeah.
There are some plot things.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the slightest.
Yeah, it's like saying you can't play a Pokemon game if you haven't played the previous ones. There are callbacks and references, but that's it. They're totally ignorable.
Basically, the original Nier is a pretty mediocre JRPG. This is a Platinum game.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know how Platinum took Metal Gear and made it good? Yeah, shots fired there, by the way. But I'm sticking with it. That's what they did with Nier. Yeah, but it's harsh. But is it unfair?
I don't know. I mean,
with Nier, it's completely fair.
Yeah, but even in terms of Metal Gear, like Revengeance is by far, at the time it was released, the best playing Metal Gear game, because they've always been extremely clunky. Like, there's, they're not bad games by any means, but like if you just want to actually play the game and enjoy it, then Revengeance does that the best.
See, what I would say is that Platinum should make all games, but they might seriously take me up on that offer.
Yeah. Then you'd never get anything released on Xbox ever again.
That being said, I think Platinum did pretty much say do one to anyone asking them to do a kill the kill game.
I still really want to punch whoever who decided to cancel Scalebound. The Xbox I've ever had any interest in ever.
Well, it got cancelled because they spent 2 years and got nowhere with it.
That's fair.
Which seems to primarily be because Platinum decided to make every game that's ever been released in the past 2 years.
On the topic of Goku, I've just seen a video of the of Dragon Ball FighterZ open beta on the Switch, and it runs like absolute shit.
No, we were playing it the other day. It runs fine on the Switch.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Because I'm watching this video right now, and the frame rate is just absolute garbage.
No, it's totally fine.
It was absolutely fine. Yeah, I was watching it being played. Didn't notice anything.
Is that on or offline?
Online.
Online, yeah.
It's all online.
Holy.
We watched the it's like actual online battles because them was playing, and we watched the practice mode as well, the tutorial, and it was all fine. I didn't notice a single stutter.
Yeah, it runs completely fine in 60 on Switch. Nothing to complain about, to be honest.
This is running like Daikatana. This video I'm watching now.
Sounds like their problem, really.
I don't know. Apparently, I've heard quite a few people have had the same issue, from what I can gather from this. Also, all the people who are playing on the Switch are completely terrible, so anyone who's got like any sort of skill at the game is just going to get like.
I mean, it could be
undefeated streak.
It could be the online setup that Dragon Ball uses, which I know isn't the correct way of doing fighting games online.
Is there a correct way of doing fighting games online though?
Yeah, so it's a complicated way of how the net code of it works, but basically, I believe the way Dragon Ball does it is that it effectively waits for the other user's input, and then updates that across things, which effectively means that you have to wait for lag if that happens. Whereas most modern fighting games these days will kind of make a best guess, and if it's wrong, it will roll back the frames, but it won't interrupt the game. So it basically runs smoother and more close to what the inputs actually are. It's only really if the game has game-breaking lag and then therefore dies, it becomes a problem.
I did notice with the FighterZ demo there was like a frame delay thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably why.
It's one of the few, but one of the main complaints that people had about fighters, because it's quite an outdated way of doing fighting game netcode. Pretty much all the rest of the Western fighters these days do it the other way.
Yeah, I could definitely see Yeah, I can see why that would show up massively for a lot of people, but not for us, because our connection is fairly stable.
Yeah, so I can imagine that might be why you have examples of the frame rate going absolutely down the toilet.
Quite a few people kind of had a bit of a laugh about the fact that Fighters tells you what the frame delay is, because it pretty much gave away a certain streamer / let's player lying about lag when he plays fighting games. Which he was then promptly called out on.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, his excuse was the game is lying.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Much like how that IGN guy didn't actually steal all of those articles.
Oh,
well, to be fair, it is IGN. I mean, let's be honest, being scummy and useless is kind of what they do, and have done for years.
7.8, too much plagiarism.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
On that note, since we're stood in the Pokemon Center, I think that's it for tonight.
Pretty much, yeah. So, what did you accomplish whilst I was gone?
Nothing. We got utterly bodied by Silver, or I mean exclamation mark, and yeah.
We talked a lot.
That's sort of what we do.
So
Well,
next time I'm going to have to find some way of making my team not completely useless, so that we can actually get somewhere.
I think we're all going off and doing the old off-screen grinding thing. I know I have to as well.
Oh yeah, I definitely have to actually.
It's my job tomorrow before I stream.
What I
well,
missed
I'm
the
glad
most.
I don't have to do that because my game is bugged.
Quite literally.
I mean,
And
what
just
I'm.
quite happily lets me just cheat my way through it in any which way I want.
I could do with that as well. But what I missed the most is the EXP share. It would make this so much more
Yeah.
playable.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I actually said that yesterday during my stream, that honestly, I know a lot of people have been bitching about the experience share from Generation 6 and all, but honestly, it just makes the game so much less irritatingly grindy.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
why I
this is-
always have it on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's interesting because we are basically the 4 people that just aren't going to complain about this whatsoever, because
They're there. The XP share is there for players like me who want to just play online and just get that out of the way.
or also for players like me that just want to play the game rather than spending hours and hours grinding and
Yes,
pushing
exactly.
Exactly,
level
yeah.
balancing and all that.
There's something for everyone, except for whiny people who are all like, "Logo, it's
Oh
good."
no, they're the ones that are like, oh no, you know, we have to play Nuzlocke, and Nuzlocke's really hard and challenging, and it's like, okay.
I mean, I
can
want
do the
I want
same
the
thing.
games to be harder, but level grinding is not making the game harder. It's making it more annoying.
Yeah, it's not
just
difficulty,
make
it's
it
tedium.
Yep, exactly.
It's artificial padding. and
Exactly.
One of the things that I think the Pokemon games are trying to stop, phase out, yeah, is artificial padding, which is good, but they've not got much to replace it with right now. Which is why I think we've kind of said, yeah, X and Y, there ain't much to them, because you can blast through the game itself relatively easily compared to previous entries, and that's fine, but there's nothing waiting for you by the time you get to the end. And kind of almost the same as Sun and Moon as well, although, again, they've got all the story stuff and all the changes there, which is great, but again, the same thing, it feels like, compared to previous games, not only have you got less post-game, you've also got less grinding, so it feels like it's less meaty in general.
I mean, the obvious solution is make more post game.
Well, I would agree. Yes, just make more game to replace the fact that you don't have to spend 6 hours grinding anymore.
Yes, exactly.
There we go. We fixed the game.
Yep, great. Okay. That's definitely armchair game development if I've ever heard it.
Alright. And on that note, we will leave it there and be back tomorrow for Unova.
Yes. See you tomorrow, guys.
What's Unova? I can't remember.
That's an appropriate way to end. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.